This is not on my content calendar. I didn't plan on making this video. And by the way, I don't have a content calendar, it doesn't exist. And this is just something that's been drifting in my brain, and it hasn't been drafted in my Google Docs for 3 weeks, pretending I'll make it tighter later. This is just something I wanted to talk about. So forgive if this video is a little bit rough. If you've been anywhere near BookTube, BookTok, Bookstagram, whatever corner of the internet we're all haunting right now, you're probably noticing a lot of talk of anti-consumerism. And look, before anyone starts limbering up in the comments, I can hear your knuckles cracking, getting ready to type with rage. I get it, and I agree with a lot of it. We do live in a world where things are considered disposable when they shouldn't be. And let's be real, being encouraged to buy things to keep an algorithm happy is a problem. I'm not arguing against any of that. But what I struggle with is how quickly this conversation turns into moral judgment. Because somewhere along the way, being mindful turned into you're a bad person for wanting things. And I don't buy that at all. Here is an extremely unsexy, very boring belief. If you have the money, if you're not putting yourself into debt, if your rent is paid, your bills are covered, and you're not actively harming anyone or yourself, and you want to buy yourself a book, buy the book. A novel, a comic book, a graphic novel, a manga, hell, anything. Do it. And I can already hear the response. Well, you don't need it. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. I don't need most of the things that make life bearable, and that's kind of the point. I'm Darth James, welcome to this episode. This is going to be rambly. Like, sub, do the usual, membership, Patreon, Substack, all of the usual things nobody bothers clicking are available. Let's just talk about it. BookTube in particular has this weird guilt spiral around special editions. You don't need every shiny version, you don't need the sprayed edges, you don't need to own multiple copies, and you know what, you're right. You really don't. But here's the part that we keep skipping over. If someone can afford it and it makes them happy, who cares? I've said this myself. I rolled my eyes at the 5th special edition of the Book of the Month that came out 6 minutes ago. I've absolutely had the "this is ridiculous" fault. But ridiculous doesn't mean immoral. There's a difference between mindless consumption and deliberate happiness. Buying every shiny thing because TikTok told you to, or an influencer, or YouTube, or hell, BookTube, Instagram, whatever. Maybe we need to interrogate that mindset. Buying a beautiful edition of a book you love, even if you're never going to read it, because it genuinely makes you happy to see it on your shelf, I'm sorry, but that's not the apocalypse. That's it. And maybe this is where the video kind of come from in my head. The last over 12 months have been hell. There's no poetic way to say this. Endless hospital visits, cancer wards, endless doctors, terrible waiting room smell that never quite leaves your clothes. Living that close to mortality changes how you see things. It strips away a lot of the internet nonsense very, very, very fast. And this whole mindset is something I learnt from my mum. She knew she didn't have much time left. And when you know that, you stop negotiating with happiness. She wanted to go to an expensive restaurant, so we went. No, maybe later. No, is it worth it? No, just why the hell not? Because if not now, when? And that sticks with you. Somewhere online, especially in book spaces, happiness has become suspicious. If you buy something nice, you must be shallow. If you collect things, you must be materialistic. If you enjoy owning beautiful objects, you must be enjoying it too much and doing capitalism wrong. And listen, I'm so tired of pretending pleasure is a sin. I've bought books I've already read because I like how they look. I've bought books I'll probably never read because they're beautiful and I already own the paperback. I collect Pokemon cards. I collect toys. I play video games. A lot of video games, and some of them I haven't played yet. Why not? I'm financially stable, I can do it. None of this makes me a better person, but it also doesn't make me a worse one. It just makes me human. And after the year I've had, I'm done apologising for things that make me feel okay for 5 minutes. Because I don't feel okay 95% of the time right now. This is the part where nuance matters, and the internet hates nuance. Anti-consumerism should be about systems, about waste, about pleasure and manipulation. It should not be about shaming individuals for buying a book they love, because here's a quiet truth nobody likes to admit. Sometimes buying the shiny thing helps you survive a week. Sometimes that special edition sitting on your shelf is a tiny, defiant middle finger to how awful everything else feels. And if that gets you through, I'm not taking that away from you, and no one else should either. BookTube has this weird guilt economy, where you're either a minimalist monk who owns 3 books and a plant, or a soulless consumer drowning in hardbacks. There's no middle ground. And most of us, real people, live in that middle ground. We buy books, we like objects, but we also understand restraint, and those things can coexist. You are not required to perform suffering to prove your ethics. Here's a part that is probably going to sound cheesy as hell, but I don't care. You've got one life. We've got one life. I've got one life. That's it. Not a practice run, not a draft, not a revised edition with better choices. And if buying a shiny special edition of a novel makes you smile when you walk past your bookshelf, enjoy it. If you bought it because it was beautiful, good. If you bought it knowing you'll probably never read it again, who cares? As long as you're not hurting anyone, live. Have fun. Enjoy what you have. Stop asking the internet for permission to feel happiness. So yeah, that's the video. Not an anti-consumerism rant, not a defense of buying everything. Just a reminder that happiness is not a moral failing. And if the last year has taught me anything, it's that sometimes something makes you happy and you can afford it and it hurts no one. Why the hell not? So yeah, that was the video. I'm Darth James. And if you like that, remember to like and subscribe and tell me what you think. I also remind you that if you want to support this weird little corner of the internet so I can keep the lights on, you're more than welcome to. Substack, Patreon, Ko-fi, channel memberships are there. But like I said, sometimes if it gets you for a week, sometimes that's all you need.